It's 5:30. Let's call the meeting to order. Thank everybody for being here. Public comments, anybody signed up, Madam Clerk?
Yep, here.
Let the record show no one signed up. Number 3 on the agenda. Mr. Myers and Mr. Parfus, you have the floor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First order of business that I'd like to just throw out there, the town manager has requested that we add the September 17th agenda item cover sheet for this RFQ tasker to the record. Is everybody okay with that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Consensus is yes.
Okay, thank you. Just as a preface, David and I met yesterday and went through the changes that were proposed. I think it's safe to say we agree, or he agrees with about 80% of them, but we do have a few changes to the changes, which I will go through. I want everybody to keep in mind is what we're doing here is a request for qualifications. So unlike an RFP, what is in here is it's not what would be the actual contract. What we're looking for is someone who has the ability to do this work. And so we describe the work in more of a general nature as opposed to what would be in the contractual documents to specifically do work. That'll come later, assuming we get some submittals, and those details will be negotiated. For tonight, what I propose that we do is go through the 5 pages of proposed changes and see if the board is okay with them. Want to see if anybody else has got a comment on those pages, and after that, if anything else. When we hit those pages, I'll ask if any of the other commissioners have comments on that particular page.
Is that this, the packet with your highlighter?
Yeah, with all the little notes and stuff. Is that acceptable to the board?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's what we're looking at.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully this will go quickly.
Yes,
So
sir.
I won't tell you what Dave and I did, and David's going to keep me honest in case I make something up. We'll start with page 11, and that's how it's numbered in the package. We're just going to do those comments as written.
I printed this out myself.
Means we strike out the blue and we add the red, so
That's correct, that's correct. So you want to have any other comments on that page?
That seemed perfectly reasonable to me. It explained the age of the pier and what we're looking for. The scope of the work is a little more refined, and on page 12, where you took out the financial modeling, I agree that is something that that can be done. Staff can handle that, or we can get somebody else to look at the financial modeling on that.
Right.
Keep the engineering to the engineers.
And the other thing too is, the tasker was for the pier specifically.
Yes, sir.
And if I was gonna figure out what the income is, the first thing I'd say is, what are you gonna charge? And with the sheets that I've attached to this package, it has the charges from various other piers in the area. It's not that straightforward. I understand that one pier may offer a discount on a parking pass if you get a season fishing pass. So that's something that we need to come through. David, correct me if I'm wrong, but you think that's within the purview of the staff to look at that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Moving on to page 12. We're going to basically accept it as is, except about 2/3 of the way down, I'd added in a definition of what a class 3 estimate is. And Dave and I talked about it, and we decided we would take that back out because he addresses it in a paragraph on the next page, I believe.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, it'll be in paragraph D, and I'll talk to that in just a moment.
This piece?
Now, there was some numbering, A, B, C, D, that changed,
I'm assuming,
that got cleaned up.
yeah, that's,
Okay.
I'm sure that'll be
Yes, sir.
fixed.
Okay.
Any other comments on page 12? Ready to go to 13?
No, sir, as we're talking about, developing cost estimates for maintenance and repair in an average cycle, I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. And what you've added there was the maintenance and repair plan should be taken into consideration, the implementation of a condition-based maintenance program. That makes
Yes, sir.
sense.
Yeah, you go out and you inspect and you fix what you find as opposed to going, well, it's been 12 months, we're gonna change this out, it's perfectly good, but the schedule says 12 months.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay? Moving on to 13, and as we discussed, that paragraph C is actually getting struck out. I didn't do a good job there, but that's the financial analysis part.
And could I chime in just a
Yes, sir.
second? I know I responded affirmatively, could the staff handle the revenue and the business case stuff? I'll qualify that if we get into it and we find out we can't, I will come back to you and ask for help.
Certainly,
Okay.
certainly. So, we're gonna, paragraph D, we're gonna put back in. And I've asked David to reword it a little bit, and that portion that I'd like to be reworded is at the bottom of that paragraph when we talk about general assembly drawings, piping and instrumentation schematics, utility diagrams. I want to use the words that are a little more general from the paragraph on the previous page where I think I just said specs and standards without talking about specific systems, because we're not going to have like instrumentation on the pier as far as I know. Again, if that surfaces, then it's going to come out in the negotiation of the actual contract and task.
So C is out and D is back in.
Yes, sir, with some
All of C,
wordsmithing.
including the red that was in the middle?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I thought about that, and it was like, we would have to tell someone how we're gonna price out the pier, and we don't have that yet, but we should do that,
Correct.
okay?
Okay?
Anything else on 13?
No, sir.
Hold on.
Okay,
The dates, I mean, under administrative requirements, did they get pushed? I mean, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
because,
and David, correct me if I've got this wrong, but instead of having that date there right now, what we're gonna do is have it due 6 weeks after issue of this task.
okay.
Yes, correct. Now, that says 14 October, but that was actually, that's on page 13. The response due date back to the clerk was the 28th of October. So what we would do is that's the 6 weeks from issuance date that'll push back, and then we would have questions to come back in 2 weeks prior to that 6 weeks
I
out
got you.
deadline.
Okay, great, thank
So
you.
we issue it, 4 weeks later, we have a question cut off.
Yes.
And then,
Right. So whatever that comes up to be, once we get to whenever we can get something in the paper, we'll take care of that. But it'll be 6 weeks out, 4 weeks,
okay.
2 weeks prior to that to be 4 weeks.
Anything else? Page 14. That is a basic accept as is. Now, I hope there's only like one change on the page.
Yeah, that's designing and constructing
Yeah.
instead of just simply conducting. Okay, makes sense.
Right.
Wordsmithing.
Yeah, it's just me being a little anal, I suppose, but I wanted to make sure they weren't just going, we built one, but we never designed one. I hope you'll indulge me.
Okay?
Page 15, it would be accept that it as is, but I wanted to add one more selection criteria under D, and that is experience in developing maintenance plans. After all, we're asking for us to give us one, we'd like to know they've done something before.
What was that, please?
Under the selection criteria page,
Experience.
experience in developing maintenance plans.
And probably options, probable cause, and that would be.
Yeah, that one I think the A, B, C, D, E's need to get, because,
That's housekeeping, we'll take care
yeah,
of
so it's
that.
really clause E you're talking about,
Right.
right? I mean, it says D here, but.
Yeah, it would,
Okay.
yeah, it would be E. I didn't pay attention to formatting, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Should I do this again, I'll try to do a better job of it. And that's all I had in this document. Does anyone have changes anywhere else they'd like to discuss?
Well, 15, page 15, the deliverable, when are we, this is when the contract will be complete? Is that what we're,
But here's what I was trying to do there. We're telling them that we're looking at 90 days. But again, I don't know how busy these guys are after what's occurred in this state in the past few days. It may be hard to find a structural type engineer. So, and they may feel it's more than 90 days. So we're throwing 90 days out there, but we're leaving room to negotiate that actual date.
Yes, sir.
well,
We
what,
don't-
yeah. I mean, 90 days seems tight to me.
Well, that's
Um,
why, I kind of thought the same
And it sets an
thing.
I mean, I just, reasonable or or negotiate it, but, I mean, as soon as you say 9 days, you say this is a 3-month project, I've kind of already put myself in a box.
Well, true, but that's why I tried to avoid that, Tom, and if there's a better way to word it, I was saying, unless a different schedule is presented and justified, we could just change it, instead of presented and justified, we just call it
Put that in.
negotiated, if you like
Yeah,
that.
to me, I'd rather leave it open
That's all.
and have some flexibility.
That's all we put in
To,
there, that's the only
um,
change.
All right,
No.
can we change that to negotiated, or do you want something different?
Um,
Well, didn't you add unless a different schedule is presented and justified?
You did that at the end, I thought that would take care of it.
That was my goal, but,
Well, I
you know,
think
that's,
That's fine.
I like that. It's the 90 days, I guess, that I'm worried about.
Well, instead of saying required, can you say requested?
Well,
90 days?
let me add something in there. Rick and I kind of addressed this, and what we came back to, since you've taken the financial modeling stuff out, it's a simple structure when you look at it. So that's why I think that we really didn't debate much on the 90 days. And then the qualification, if,
Yeah,
I would think that someone comes back in and says, well, unless you think it would preclude a submittal.
Well, I'm worried, I'm not debating the 90-day time period to get it done. It's just, if all the firms are busy and they're booked solid for 30 days from now, 60 days, they might not be able to start it, so they'll punt on this because, it'll be more than 90 days, and they think that's the expectation. So I'm just worried about, losing good bidders because we gave them a box versus see what they say and work with them to come up with a time frame that allows it to work.
I mean, but keep in mind that we're not bidding, we're evaluating qualifications, and that's what you're asking them to come in with, and then the 90 days would be after you negotiate and execute a contract.
let me suggest this. Suppose we said, scope of work and subsequently agreed to by the town and consultant. I'm trying to see if I can get the words in there. Say, is desired to be fulfilled in 90 days. So it's not
I said requested or required, I mean
Yeah,
requested.
requested will work. I mean,
I think David's got a good point. It's the contract that's gonna actually decide that.
yeah,
We put whatever we want in there, but,
yeah, this gives them this gives them the work and what we're kind of looking at, but it also leaves the opportunity to negotiate it. That was for the reasons you just cited, Tom, that's why I put that statement in there.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
okay.
Anything elsewhere in the document?
I read it thoroughly, and sometimes I think there's a lot of, in my opinion, some redundancy in it, but that's fine.
We're just fishing. We're not committed.
Yes, sir. But I think that it would be a good idea if we went ahead and the reason for this meeting was to look at it and agree to the changes and go ahead and move forward with this, Rick.
With that, I'd like to make a motion to direct staff to incorporate the changes as discussed and get this RFQ issued.
I'll second that.
So a motion made and seconded, any discussion?
I only have one question. Does the lawyer need to look at the contract, the RFQ, or she's done it? Or?
This is just a request for qualification. There's no contractual obligations by the town.
Okay.
So do we have to look at the final,
No.
so we can just, okay, good.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, you ready to vote?
Yes, sir, please.
All in favor say yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I said yes. I followed directly
Yes.
wrong.
We got some
Yes,
of you,
Mr. Mayor.
some of you are awake, that's good. Anybody against the motion, say no. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. All right.
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn, sir.
Second?
Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Yes.
He said aye.
Tricky.
We're adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
Rick?